right, good morning, guys. How's everyone doing today? Monday morning. Hope Doc is streaming this afternoon. Yeah, Doc, I love Doc. Morning, guys. Welcome to Monday. Hope everyone had a good long weekend. Sort of wish it was a little bit longer, but let's get back to it, right? Morning, guys. AMD. Yeah, AMD. We'll talk about it today, actually. I actually have that on the schedule. So we'll take a look at AMD. It's been very weak. Very weak. Make sure everything's good here. Look good. Big earnings week. So we'll look at that. Big earnings week. Earnings is starting up again. So this week is pretty packed. And we'll take a look at the calendar. We got quite a bit this week, and then next week's, I think it's next week. Yeah, next week's packed. A lot of big boys next week. I was Easter good. Spent it with family. Hope everyone had a good Easter Sunday as well. With family, friends. Pot stocks. Who knows, man? I don't pay attention to those. I like to focus on the larger overall market, larger picture. Michelle, what's up, man? Good morning. Good morning. All right, so let's first take a look at the earnings calendar. I think that's a good place to start. Get an idea of what we're looking at this week. So here we go. Here's the earnings calendar for this week. So we got this morning. We had BOA, which I think is I think they did pretty well, moving up a little bit this morning. I think I have the news. Bank of America profit tops estimates as lender releases reserves for soured loans. So it looks like they beat. Let me see how well they did. So they beat EPS. They beat top and bottom. Not by much. I'd have to read more into it and see where it came from. I'm sure mostly mortgages probably did pretty well. I'd have to read more into their earnings, but BOA did report this morning, and it beat top and bottom. So I mean, you could keep an eye on XLF, keep an eye on the banks. I don't really trade the banks, but I do watch them just for overall market sentiment. So let's keep an eye on banks today. XLF and Bank of America. You had most of them report last week as well. So we'll see if there's any continuation. Sometimes on earnings, it takes a few days. We'll see if, does XLF continue today? Does it sell off? I think that's a good watch just to see the sort of market sentiment on the financials. After that, today after hours, really nothing. More small banks, it looks like. Nothing that I think will really affect the market as a sort of a macro effect. Just very smaller banks. Maybe it puts gives you some idea of the XLF moves. So keep an eye on that. Mostly financials this morning and afternoon today. That's really what today is all about, is the financials earnings. After today, Johnson & Johnson, Lockheed Martin. Those are interesting. Lockheed Martin's interesting to me because we've seen Lockheed Martin do really well recently because of Russia-Ukraine. So we've seen that push to the upside because of fear of conflict. And whenever that happens, you're going to see defensive stocks like Lockheed Martin push higher, right? So does Lockheed Martin's earnings, does it warrant where the stock is, right? Is this an opportunity? Does Lockheed Martin fall because maybe their earnings don't really line up with how far of an upside move it's gotten recently? Basically, just off of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. So that's an interesting one to me. I'm not going to play it, but I'm definitely going to be interested to see what Lockheed does post earnings after being pushed up so high off of Russia-Ukraine. Johnson & Johnson, we have J&J, which is pretty big for the XLP. That one should be interesting to watch. Transports for JB Hunt. JB Hunt, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with JB Hunt. Thank you, Sierra. Netflix, that's pretty interesting. Netflix after close on Tuesday. IBM, another one. Then we have Procter and Gamble Wednesday. That's another XLP name. What else we got there? We got Abbott Labs. Interesting. Tesla Wednesday. United, another airline stock. You got CSX, which is transports as well, right? So that's another transport name. Thursday, American Airlines. So more airlines. AT&T, and then Snap, and then Verizon, American Express. So yeah, I mean, there's other ones in there obviously, but interesting, right? Interesting. Yeah, yep. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But next week, good morning, Alpha. Next week is the one that a lot of people are going to have their eyes on. It's heavy tech. And this is where you get an idea of whether the tech market can hold up in this environment, right? So next week you got Microsoft, Google, right? Microsoft, Google, two big ones. Then you got Facebook, PayPal, Qualcomm, and you got Apple, Amazon, Twitter, Roku, right? Big ones. Even Caterpillar, a big one. And then you got AbbVie, ExxonMobil, Chevron. That's big for energy. So just a lot of stuff the week after this week. AMD is the following week. And then you got some of those crappy tech stocks that I like to call them, right? Twilio, Etsy, some of the ones that have been having really a lot of trouble. So Upstart. So it's going to be big. But next week is the big tech week. This week you got some sort of you got some tech sort of sprinkled in there. So just be aware of it, guys. That's why I'm bringing it up. I want to make sure everyone is aware of the earnings calendar that is approaching. Economic calendar. Not too much this week. You do have Bullard speaking today, who is traditionally a pretty hawkish person. So 4 o'clock today, James Bullard speaks to Council on Foreign Relations. What I've learned in the last few years, when I read something on this calendar and I think it doesn't relate to the market, they always tend to slip something in about the market, right? So it says that he's going to be speaking on foreign relations. I can almost guarantee you he speaks about inflation. That's at least what I've seen. But who knows? But I'll always expect there to be some kind of inflation talk on any time I see that he's going to be opening his mouth. I feel like he's going to be speaking about inflation, no matter what he's actually slated to talk about. That's just the way I take it, just to protect myself. Building permits, housing starts, nothing much there. More Fed presidents, existing home sales, more Fed presidents, beige book. Thursday, jobless claims, normal stuff. Bullard again. And then Fed Jerome Powell will be speaking on the global economy to the IMF. So this one actually could move the market. 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock on Thursday. 1 o'clock on Thursday is when Jerome Powell will be opening his mouth. So that could be a market moving event. We'll keep an eye on that one. And then Friday, PMI, which we already sort of saw. This is like just the U.S. global manufacturing PMI. So keep an eye on that on Friday. Friday, right after market open. So nothing huge this week, but you do have your normal. Jobless claims in that, and some Fed presidents speaking. Next Friday, we have a little bit more. We have PMI again. We have consumer spending, PCE price index. So we got some more stuff next week, but nothing major, I would say, this week on the economic calendar. But definitely some reasons to be aware of the Fed president speaking, in my opinion. So that's the economic calendar. Let's go ahead and move on. So Tesla's up a little bit this morning, which is interesting. I didn't quite catch if there was news. Let me go ahead and take a look real quick before we get started. New price target from ARK. Okay, so it's interesting. I'm surprised they're even moving off a price target from ARK. It looks like you got some news this morning from Tesla, but Tesla's holding the 100 SMA, which is something that I've been watching. I want to share it with you guys today. Energy looks really strong still. XOM and CVX look really good on their daily charts, and so does the XLE. So I want to share that with you guys. Energy should still be in, sort of on watch for more upside. Still holding very well. XLP, we saw XLP continue to be strong last week. Let's see if that continues this week. Big day for Caterpillar. Caterpillar had a huge day on on Thursday. Monster day on Caterpillar. I want to share it with you guys. We talked about it in our Friday stream when everyone, we had a few people come in on Friday, but we'll take a look at Caterpillar again. AMD. AMD is one of the weakest tech stocks right now. I don't know if you guys have checked out that stock recently, but it's getting really, really messed up. Chip stocks have been really, really weak. So AMD is losing it. Nvidia has been losing it. And I want to share with you guys, what I'm looking at on those two names. Target was a stock that we were watching in the chat most of last week. Had some really nice opportunities on it and still looks pretty good. So I want to share with you guys Target, where it needs to hold. Boeing, 185 level, big rejection level that it rejected on Thursday. Want to share that with you guys. Make sure you're aware of it. And then finally, I just want to talk a little bit about the high multiple stocks that are still dead. Stocks like Roku, stocks like PayPal, like Square, like Snow, like Etsy. Stocks like, what else we got? Stocks like Upstart, like Affirm. Stocks like SE, Twilio, CRM. Just a lot of these crappier, I wouldn't say crappier, but a lot of these tier 2 tech stocks, not like the large, like the main 5 or 6, right? Not Apple, Nvidia, Google, Microsoft, Tesla, not the main core ones, but sort of those tier 2 tech names, the high multiple names that, are questionable. Those are they just still are not getting any love. They're still not getting any love. When I say that, I'm looking at a chart like this, right? Like Roku, where there literally has not been a single bounce, right? You're still getting the same weakness on these names. So, does this have another leg lower? This is something I'm definitely interested in, right? Is there another leg lower on these names like Upstart, like Roku, like Etsy, right? Look at all these. They just have not gotten any love. Square got a little bit of love. PayPal got a little bit of love. But you're still just getting the same downside over and over again. So we'll take a look at a few of them and just talk about it. They are still not getting any moves. All right. Yeah, we'll take a look at the Chinese names because that's actually a good point. I forgot to bring that up. Sorry, guys. China had a GDP number released last night, middle of the night. And it was a good number, but it looks like the Chinese names are slightly lower this morning. So we can look at those as well. All right, let's get started. Nasdaq. So we had that inverse head and shoulder we were looking at. It's not looking great in my opinion. It's looking like it may not be a level that holds as of right now. Thursday definitely sort of screwed up the potential hold. You guys can see, I think 13.7 is that wick low. Hold on, let me get to it real quick. 13.7 is this wick low, and I think that's like last ditch effort. That's last ditch effort. 13.7. That's the wick of this low right here. And that is sort of right where we're trying to bounce off of today. If that breaks through today, you're probably going to these lows, to be honest. So, I don't see much support after this 13.7. You really have quite a bit of downside. DD's getting delisted. Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll look at it. So, on the NASDAQ, this is really the day of reckoning. If you break under this level, I think you're going to get continuation selling. Because there is not much below this. This is a very crucial level. Break under this, continuation of selling. You already saw a pretty strong continuation on Thursday because of the break of around 13.9, which was a previous level we were watching from back here. If you do not hold this level, I really do not see a reason why we wouldn't sell back to these lows. There's nothing here to really structure this hold. So definitely watching that. If we go to the 4-hour, I just want to show you guys again what this looks like on the 4-hour with, the current price action. You can see when we started to slip under these lows on Thursday, you guys can see what happened. Look at the reaction. After you slip under a previous support, look at how quickly we sort of fell lower. You can see right here, if I go to the 15-minute, these were the previous lows of the week, right? You had a previous low here. Boom, boom, and boom, right? Previous support. Look at what happened when you slipped under that. It just really strong flush, right? Really strong price action to the downside. So I think that is the exact same type of thing if you drop this. If you drop 14 or 13.7, I really don't see much of a reason to be looking for upside. So definitely concerning, definitely weak, no doubt about it. And what I would be really concerned about today, guys, if you don't want to see this market drop, you need to see it break above this level here. If we move back higher this morning, let me go to the hourly chart. Actually, let me go 30-minute. If we move back higher and reject this level as resistance, that is very bearish. If you come here and you get a nasty rejection, that is going to be very bearish, guys. You do not want to see, right? You don't. If you're looking to see if this market holds up, you do not want to see this area reject, because that is just clean previous support into resistance, and that is a very bearish thing, right? If you get this and this, downside for sure. So let's watch out for 13.9 to the upside. 13.9 to the upside and around 13.7 to the downside. You are now in this little 200-point range, right? You're in this 200-point range. Do we push up to here? And if we do we break through it? And if we break through it, can we hold it? Right? This is sort of what you need. Can we hold that 13.9, turn it into support again? Or do we get a push to 13.9 and a brutal rejection? And if you get that, then you can definitely tell the sellers are still in control there, right? The sellers would be obviously still in control if you reject that 13.9. So that is a major level to watch today, guys. On the QQQ, that is, wow, look at that. You already got a nasty rejection off of it this morning. That is right around here, 339, which is already a nasty rejection coming in. You can see right there. So if this happens right here, right, if this is what the QQQ does, that is sellers in clear control. So that's what I would be watching today, guys. That is like the major level. If you are pushing this morning, right, if you get tunnel vision this morning and you're looking at the 1-minute chart and you're trading the Nasdaq higher, right? If you're trading this Nasdaq higher and you got tunnel vision this morning and you do not realize that we push into this level, and you start to, buy calls into this level, I think you're going to get sort of messed up. You need to be looking for rejections at 13.9, I think. I would not feel comfortable buying anything to the upside until I see 13.9 hold today. I don't see there to be any reason to look for upside moves until this level turns into support. If we're trading below this level and we start to reject here, this is what I'd be looking for. So that's what I'm looking for. If we get that push, that's the key for me. If we get that push this morning, I'm going to be looking for that rejection opportunity. I'll be looking for the downside if we get a 13.9 rejection, absolutely, because I think that's probably your best, at least what's on the charts right now. That's what I can see the best, right? I can only see what's in front of me. I can't try to mock up what could happen, but what I could see is a possible push, a rejection at that level, and then a sell back to the downside. Here is the ES, which has been a little bit stronger, right? You had a little bit, right? You guys should know why the ES has been stronger. It's got some diversification. Energy's been strong. XLP's been strong. So you have a little bit of diversification on the ES, which has been a little bit stronger. But you also broke down key levels last week, right? So if we go to let's go to the hourly. You know what? Let's go 4 hour. Just trying to make it so you guys can see this the best. So here's 4 hour. And you can see that we made new lows last week, right? Very clear. You had previous support that you wanted to see hold around 43.80, and you broke to new lows yesterday, or on Thursday, right? And look at what you have, the same exact setup here. Same exact setup. If you go to the 15-minute chart, look at what the ES is doing. If you get the same thing, a slip, a break, a retest of resistance, and you sell off of that, that is sellers in full control, guys, and still very bearish. Previous support into resistance. That is bearish. I would be careful of this. I would not be playing calls into this level. That is such small margin and such small opportunity to play upside into this level here. There's just no reason to do it. If you're trying to play upside, I would wait for something like this. Wait for this to start building. Wait for it to start holding previous levels of support. Look for higher highs, higher lows. Then maybe you have some opportunity. If you do not have that and you just reject straight out of the gates here, sellers are going to be in full control today, guys. So be careful here. 43.80s on the ES. You have very clear supply here, and you need to be aware of that as you open the market today. If the market slips again today, I really don't see much support until 42.70, right? You really don't see much. This is just a huge range of price action right in this area, right? This whole area is just a range of price action. There's no structure. So if you start to sell again, I would say 42.70 to the downside and then 43.80 to the upside. 43.80, 43.85, right in that area. You can see we're already rejecting it this morning. So 43.85 rejection point. If it gets above that, maybe you can try to turn bullish in the short term. If not, I think you have down to around here if you continue on this downtrend. So that's the ES. Let's go to the YM. YM's been holding a little bit of a flag. It tried to break through it on Thursday, failed miserably. So you can see Thursday we pushed higher, failed miserably. It's trying to hold 34.2 again. You guys can clearly see this. Look at the Dow trying to hold 34.2. So Dow's in a little bit of a better spot. 34.2 is decent. You guys can see right here. Support, 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 support. You need to break out of this little wedge. However, this looks like it's going to be tough. This looks like it's going to be real tough. But yeah, I mean, it's clear on the technicals here, guys. You know what you have to do, right? If you break this, you're going down. If you break this and you hold it, you're going up. But it's getting to an inflection point here, right? It's getting very close to where it needs to move because it can only go so long on this little downtrend, right? Eventually, it needs to do something. It's not going to just do this and go little micro moves. It's going to do one of these, right? One of these moves is going to happen out of this wedge. When does that happen? Probably in the next week or two. But we need to be aware of it. It's either going to drop here, maybe do something like this, right? Little previous support into resistance, or you're going to start to see the break, maybe the downtrend hold, and then more upside. But it's going to happen soon because it's getting really tight here. You guys can see, all right? So just watch out for the Dow. There's probably a move coming in that little wedge. Next, Russell, nothing. As always, Russell does nothing. Bunch of sideways action. Don't see any reason to trade it. You got upside resistance at 21, downside support around 1920. So that's the futures, guys. I would say my advice to you today, guys, is come in not looking for upside. I don't think you should get your mindset chasing on the upside today. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Unless that changes intraday, that doesn't mean you come in just full bear and you sell everything and you buy puts it open and then get stuck in a sympathy bounce it open. That's not that's never smart. You don't just buy puts it open because it doesn't look good. That's not how you trade. Because this can easily pop higher and stop you out and you take a loss. So what I'm saying is that the upside, the momentum and the strength to the upside is just not there at all. It's not there, and I would not trust it. If you start to see big bounces on this market today, guys, I think there's better opportunity looking for the weakness than trying to follow the upside. Don't chase the upside. I think you look for the cracks. That's that's my opinion. That doesn't mean you buy puts it open and get stuck in a bull trap. Because if you're bearish, you can still get stuck in a bull trap because you bought too early, right? I would look for a big bounce at open. I would look for a rejection, and I would look for that. That would be a perfect day if you got that and sell it at that rejection. All right, Tesla. It's been decently strong, and even on Thursday, it held up pretty well, which was actually quite interesting to me. I was watching Tesla on Thursday. If we go to the 1 minute chart, you guys can see here's Thursday. It actually didn't do terrible, right? Tesla actually held up quite well. Pretty sideways, even though the market was basically doing this all day, right? Market was doing this. Tesla was holding sideways. So interesting to see. Doesn't mean it's strong, but at least something to be watching, right? You can see Tesla is trying to hold this 100 SMA and this previous support area right in this 980 area. You guys can see previous support, and it's trying to hold it again here around this 980. So this is an interesting level. I still think that Tesla needs to come down to 950, if I had to be honest, because what I'm looking at is this right here. I think Tesla needs to come back to this level right here in this green zone right there. So I'm still looking for Tesla to move to this 950. This could be a little bit of a bear flag. Right here, you guys can see potential bear flag on the 4 hour, sort of like this, right? And then you get your slip to 950. That's sort of what I'm looking. But what I'm also, cautious of is that we are sort of consolidating at the 100 SMA on the daily chart. So I'm watching the 100 SMA here on the daily, making sure I'm not going to get stuck in any of that, right around 975, 980. So I'm aware of that. But I also see that the right thing for Tesla to do at this point would be to retest this 950. I don't think Tesla can just hold up in sort of thin air here. When you guys can see this big pop, I think you need a retest. And then I think maybe you can hold at this 950 area for maybe more upside, something like this, right? But I think at this point, 950, 940 would be sort of where I'm looking for this to move back to. 900, 900 sort of a. I know it's a psychological number, but there's really nothing there. I mean, maybe this low. I think this high is probably the structure that it wants to retest. So that's what I'm watching. Is Tesla bear flagging on the 4 hour? You guys can see it sort of like this. Let me go to the hourly chart. Right here, guys. I think that sort of looks like the beginnings of a bear flag. You can see sort of like this. Right here. And then you have that upside rejection point right here. Very clear, right? Previous rejection turns into support. And what did it do here? Into another nasty rejection, right? Look how clean that is. Previous rejection turns into support and turns into a resistance point again. If this starts to trade like this is the exact definition of a bear flag, and then you get that move, right? That is the definition of a bear flag. If you've never seen a bear flag before, that's it right here. This is a bear flag. All right. Moving higher with a flat top, you got your rejection above, right? Resistance, support, resistance. You start to move here. As long as you stay under this 1025, I think you get that bear flag down to 950. That's sort of what I'm watching on Tesla here, guys. So keep an eye on that. That's my plan. Energy, XLE, very strong. Look at this. Hasn't stopped. Beautiful little break and retest here at 70. You guys can see back a few weeks ago. Break, retest to 70. Previous rejection into support. That's just textbook stuff. Love to see it. And you can see we have moved off of it. So new highs on energy last week. Looks like we're getting new highs this morning pretty much as well. I would keep an eye on CVX and XOM. Look at this little curl on CVX. Looks very nice. Just got to be careful of previous all-time highs. So very nice little curl on CVX. Watch out for these all-time highs around 175. But either way, nice curl on CVX as well as on XOM. You guys can see very similar chart. Just watch out for all-time highs of around 89.90. and see if the energy sector can continue, because the XLE definitely looks strong to me. So if you want to follow that energy strength, I would follow XLE or XOM and CVX. You can even take a look at the oil names like Oxy, right? Oxy's pretty strong. You can take a look at USO, probably pretty strong as well, right? USO coming back really strong, and that's just because that oil has been, oh wow, I didn't even realize, look how strong oil bounced off this. Remember we talked about this? Off this 95? We had the circle right there. What a bounce. Yeah, what a bounce on oil right off that level. So, is oil just sort of downtrending? Is this actually do something? Do we break out of here? This is something that I'm definitely watching this week. Energy and oil. XLP. Consumer staples. Where do I think consumer staples needs to move back to? I think you probably need to see maybe one more retest here and see if it can hold above this 78, right? I think that's the biggest key here. Can XLP hold this move and hold above previous all-time highs of 78? That is my watch. Do we have continuation on the XLP this week? Whenever it's Monday, I always tell the chat and I tell myself, I want to be looking at the sectors. I want to get an idea of what sectors are strong this week. What is the market favoring? Is it energy this week? Is it consumer staples this week? Is tech this week? Is it financials? What is the market liking? And that's what I need to find out today. So I'm definitely watching energy, XLP, because those two were strong. So why not watch them again? So XLP names such as Procter & Gamble, which is reporting earnings, right? I don't know if you guys remember this play on Procter & Gamble. It hit my price target perfectly. So look, PT1, PT2. I had my price target set. I got out of this trade. I took a loss, but look at what eventually happened. So Procter & Gamble up to 161. Be careful there. You got stocks like Pepsi. You got Coca-Cola, which has been on an absolute run. Stocks like Costco, which have still been strong. Walmart's been strong. Johnson & Johnson, there's tons, right? There's tons. So XLP has been bullish. I mean, absolutely bullish. The XLP is absolutely bullish. And if you want to look for bullishness, you look for the XLP and the XLE. Okay, Caterpillar. So Cat had a huge day. I'm not exactly too versed on what the reason was. They had quarterly dividend news. They had price target increases. They had price target increase to 257. So they had some bullish news sort of drop on that Thursday. Look at this day for Cat, just a monster green candle on the daily chart. Here's what I want to just make sure everyone's aware of. You are coming into a lot of resistance, so I know a lot of people are probably watching Cat today, looking to see if they can get some continuation on this. Just be aware of this little area here, all right? Be aware of this 230 to 235. You guys can see there's a lot of structure in this area. This is an area where we've rejected in the past, right? You guys can see sort of right in this area, right around 236. Sort of starts around this previous low here. I'll give it, I'll sort of draw it out like this. You guys can see, this rejection starts around 230, back at this previous high. And then you can see right here, 236 is the rejection point. Press Alt F4, good one, man. Really good one. Feels like I'm back in elementary school, honestly. So 230, you guys can see rejection right here, rejection right here. And then if you get past 230, if we get past that 230 on Cat, I would look for that 236. It's another huge level. So it's a nice day on Cat. Just be careful because, these stocks aren't like multi-day runners usually. It's not a tech stock, multi-day breakouts. So just be a little bit cautious after a big day like that. But I would still watch it. Caterpillar had a really nice day on Thursday. See if there's anything more there. And then see if that helps the Dow out. Because Cat is definitely a big part of the Dow Jones. AMD. So this thing has been weak. This thing has been weak. It sucks because it's in my long term, and it's not great to see it happen. I'm not happy about it. But yeah, Really weak stuff on AMD, guys. After breaking 100, you guys can see, look at how we broke 100 here. This is just a really good example, looking at the charts, guys. This is a great example of what happens when a key level breaks and fails to break, fails and turns into resistance. This is just really textbook stuff. Look at this. So if I go to the hourly chart and I zoom in, you guys can see back last week, we broke below 100. Right here, you can see we broke below 100 and we turned it into resistance right there, right on Tuesday of last week. When we broke below 100 right here, turned it into resistance, that was it, right? Since then, it's just been lower lows and lower highs, right? Since then, lower lows, lower highs. So that key, this was the key right here on Tuesday of last week. Previous support into resistance. And it's just getting hurt. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely be, I would be a share buyer of AMD. I don't think that's a terrible idea. As long as you go in smart, don't dump your entire, life savings into it. But you can start to nibble here as we start to fall, I think. What's next for AMD if we can't just start finding some support? There's not much. Let me zoom out. I mean, the real key level, the next major key level is down to 74. Do we see AMD at 74? Maybe. It's not impossible. But this whole area here, if you're going back into this structure, it's pretty difficult to know what the next move is, right? Because you're just sort of back in August of 2020 to July of 2021. This is basically a year of price action, guys. AMD went sideways for a year, and if you start trading back in this range, it's going to be very difficult for us to get an idea of where this stock goes. All right, if you're just going to start doing this, nonsense, and start just sort of doing sideways action here, this is going to be tough to judge if we're just going to start trading back into this nonsense here. So, I'm not ready to make a call on AMD, but all I can say is that this thing has been weak. Very weak compared to every other tech name too. I mean, this has been down the most versus other tech names. This is down 25% and probably more. So yeah, just be careful, guys, on AMD. I mean, I don't see a problem with, nibbling maybe one share at a time, like just keeping it real small if you want to try to build a position in AMD as we're dropping. But you don't buy a whole, you don't buy your whole position here. You gotta understand that this could still drop. This could absolutely still drop. And you want a dollar cost average into it. You don't want to have one entry point. So watch out. AMD weak, and so is Nvidia. Nvidia has been another weak name here, and Nvidia is getting real close to testing these lows. And what I talked about last week on these lows is it's not very clean. It's sort of sloppy, and it's sort of difficult to judge exactly where the low comes in. So if I go to the 4-hour chart, you guys can see, for the most part, these support levels are near that 208, sort of down here in this 208 area. So that's sort of the major point I'm watching, 208. But I was also watching like 210, 215. So it was a little bit difficult, right? Because I thought maybe here, right, up at the 215s. That did not hold, right? We broke down below 215 on Thursday. So now just sort of watching this Nvidia bottom. But I don't have much hope for Nvidia at this point. If AMD continues to lose it and chip stocks continue to get crushed, I don't see why Nvidia would hold here. We need something to change, especially on tech as well. So just beware. I wouldn't just trust this with, a huge amount, guys. This would not be something I would just, sort of go balls to the wall in. I would need to see something more of support or something more on the tech side, a break over some of these levels. Ideally, this is what you want to see. If you're trying to play Nvidia back to the upside here, the ideal breakout would be right here, right above 228. If you get above 228, right, if you see this and you see something like this, one of these, one of those, right? one of these, one of these, one of those. If you see something like that, then I would say, yeah, I would go for it. That's confirmation right there. That's confirmation, right? This is the definition of confirmation. If you get a break a break over the pivot highs, a retest of 228, then you play it off that, sure. That's confirmation back to the upside off of a nice little quadruple bottom here, right? But you got to wait, right? You got to wait. I don't think you're ready to go in. I think you got to wait a little bit. So, watch Nvidia, watch AMD. Chip stocks have been getting crushed. Target. So, I don't know how many of you guys are Team Target from the Discord, but we were all over this move. And this was just sexy, really. I mean, that's all I could say. That's really what it was. So, you can see right here, guys, we had a gorgeous break and retest of 228. Look how clean this is. Rejection. Right here. Rejection. And look at how beautiful that support came in. If we go to the 15-minute chart, look how clean this was. I need a little bit more time. 30-minute. Right there. Look how clean that was. Little pullback on Monday, Tuesday. Push off that previous rejection. Perfect break and retest. And you got your break above 236. Why was 236 important? Because that was the previous high right here. You guys can see right around this 236. Right there. And if we go to the 15-minute chart, let's go 5. Look at that break and retest on Thursday. Another gorgeous one, right? Look, previous rejection, 236. This is called stair stepping, right? See this? Rejection, break, retest, push higher. Another perfect retest of 236. Now, we have to hold 236, right? That's key. You have to hold 236 right here. If you do not hold this 236 today, you're probably moving down to around this 235 area right here. You need to hold 236. If you want this to stay very bullish in the short term, you need to hold this previous resistance as support, right? That is a must. So if you're watching Costco or Target, 236. If you don't hold, I'd say 235. But overall, on the daily chart, on Target, I think this is making a nice little breakout. You guys can see right here. Definitely a nice little daily chart formation for sure. Little 2-day breakout here. You know, I think there could be room maybe up to around the 240s, 245s. Sort of what I'm watching. Yeah, Walmart's a little bit better than Target. I agree. Okay, Boeing. So Boeing has had some strength in the recent trend, but I'm just a little concerned to this right here, guys. Watch out for this on BA. So you guys can see right here, there is a previous support area, right at these wicks. It's not the cleanest, but it's sort of at these wicks. You have a wick here, you got a wick here, you got a wick here. So you have a lot of sort of structure, previous support, all in this area, which I'm concerned about. So I'm just a little bit cautious of that. I want to make sure you guys are sort of watching that as well. Previous support, previous support, previous support, previous support. If you ignore the wicks and you look at just the bodies of those candles, they're all sort of right at this 188 area. All the wicks or all the bodies of the candles are up around that 188. So I'm just a little bit cautious of this little triple bottom on BA because you can see we pushed back higher and we got a little bit of a rejection candle on Thursday. So keep an eye on BA. It has had some strength because of airlines. So that could be good. So you could see some more continuation off the airline strength. But I just want to make sure you guys are aware of all this. Look at this. Support, 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 support. And a lot of, sort of congestion here. So just be aware as we start to push into the 188s. I don't want to see anyone sort of get stuck in this potential rejection point. Just be careful there. Right? Look, I mean, it's clear as day. It's on the charts. Right? Support, 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 support. If you come back into there, there's got to be some rejections as you come into that level. Just has to be. So just be aware of that on BA, guys. I spotted that this morning. I wanted to share it. All right. So next, I just want to sort of go over just the tide of the market right now on some of these really crappy tech names and how we just need to still consider them pretty much dead. So stock like Roku, right, guys? There has been nothing, right? You can at least look. Here's the difference, right? Look at Apple, right? A stock like Apple, right? A stock like Tesla, that's bounced. Stock like Microsoft, which has put in a little bit of a bounce. At least retrace some of its move. you got these stocks that have done literally nothing. And I just want to make sure everyone's aware that it is still not time to chase crap tech. Right? There is a big area of crappy tech that I still don't want to see people chasing. So Roku, right? You got a little push, but that was nothing. It didn't even break over the previous pivot highs. That's sort of the telltale sign. If you don't break over pivot highs, that is the telltale sign that it is still extremely weak, right? Look at PayPal. Square, it did actually break over these pivot highs, and that's why I was a little bit more bullish on this one, but it ultimately failed very, very harshly. PayPal, another one that I was getting a little bit bullish on because it broke over the pivot highs, but ultimately, look at that fail, right? Etsy did not break over pivot highs, has continued to make lower highs, even in the bullishness that we saw, still making lower highs and lower lows. Another weak one. Carvana has been just trash. This is another stock that looks the same. Still making lower lows, lower highs, and still breaking down. So there's a lot of these out there that we're still are just not getting anything. Nvidia, Upstart, Snow. Look at this. This was a clean rejection on Snow. Look how clean this was. Support into resistance. Boom. That is nasty. So, yeah. When is natural gas going to fall? Please do stop asking those questions. I mean, you're just making you're making yourself look dumb. No one knows. No one knows. And if I knew, I wouldn't be here. I'd be sitting in Abu Dhabi with oil puts all lined up, natural gas puts all lined up, because I knew exactly when it was going to fall. And I'm just laughing, pressing buttons, because I knew everything that was going to happen. I'm not there, and no one knows. So stop asking questions like that. Just dumb. All right. Anyway, sorry. I talked about this in my stream on Friday. I do not like when people ask those questions. It's not possible to answer. Stop asking questions. Stop asking people when something is going to happen. No one knows. That is not possible to answer, guys. I'm a straight shooter with those types of questions, because I want to see people improve, because you can't ask those questions to anyone, right? No one on the market. You can't even go to a hedge fund and say, when's Apple going up? They don't know. It's just, you can't ask those questions, guys. I would like, I want to see people understand that is not stuff that can be answered, because I think that's a good step in the right direction. Because once you understand that and you actually feel like you have to do analysis on it, then you can improve. But, just going around asking people to read the future, not going to happen. Anyways, so look at Discord LMT. We can take a look at LMT. Yeah, I said I was going to. Let's take a look at some of these earnings moves. So LMT was one. Here's my take on LMT. Before we get into, we got to go into what the members want to look at. After this real quick. So if you guys are a member, make sure to put your text in the Google Docs. Today is the 18th. Sorry, guys. I got to update this for you. So if you guys are a member of the YouTube live streams, go to the here, I'll put it in the let me put it in there real quick. Hold on. 0418. Alrighty. So if you are a member, make sure to go put a stock there for us to look at. So LMT, here's what I'm a little bit careful of on LMT, guys. You went up a lot off of Russia-Ukraine news, right? And earnings is coming out. So earnings is sort of like that time of you see what's actually under the tide when the tide rolls out. Is LMT actually moving higher because of their company, or is LMT, was it just a sympathy move off of Russia-Ukraine, right? Was there actual earnings improvements to warrant what is this? A 22% upside move on LMT. Will its earnings warrant that type of move on the stock? If it does not, right? As much as we like defense right now, if the earnings don't warrant a 22% move on the stock, guys, you might see some downside, right? You might see some downside. So just be careful. Just be careful on the LMT move. I would not, be someone that's just looking for more upside. I think that's just sort of reckless. It's possible to happen. I'm not saying it's not. But if earnings does not warrant this pump in price action, I think maybe you get a little bit of a rest on earnings. Doesn't mean that it's bearish, but it means that the move that we've seen is not based off anything but hype and war concerns, right? That's not something that can hold the stock up forever, right? Hype does not hold stocks up. Yeah, what's under the hood exactly? What's under the hood? That's what we'll find out on LMT earnings. So just be aware, guys. That's sort of what I'd be watching. All right, so we're going to go into what the members want to look at. It looks like the first one is EE. Great. Yeah, I don't got much for you here, man. Good luck. That's what I'll say. Best of luck on EE. I have nothing for you. JetBlue. So JetBlue, yeah, I mean, it's just been a crappy stock. And I don't really get it because JetBlue's the best. JetBlue's the best. Right? I love JetBlue. Big JetBlue, it's really all I'll fly. Just because I feel like they just take care of you the best, and when I'm flying, that's what I like to. I like to have some type of luxury of flying. So, because first of all, I don't like flying. I'm not a big airline guy. I'm a little bit nervous on planes. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I think I've watched too many movies. But yeah. So JetBlue, I love what they do, but I don't know. The stock's it's dead, guys. There's nothing here. It's just a dead stock. Look at what it's done for the last year and a half, 2 years almost. It's just done nothing. So, yeah, if you're looking at trading, Delta's probably the best. Financially set company. They have arguably the best balance sheet. Reading around, you can sort of read around different airlines' balance sheets. I think they had the most cash on hand during COVID, which is why people favored them. Yeah, JetBlue, I would say, is my favorite actual airline to go on, but as a stock, I would stay away, guys. There's nothing here. There's nothing happening. Don't get into these stocks where there's absolutely nothing going on. You need movement. Delta is probably the one that I would watch. You have Love. This is Southwest. Delta seems to be the best performing airline in the short term, at least. Let's see, UAL. Yeah, UAL. You can sort of just tell what does it come back since COVID lows? COVID lows, UAL's back 160%. What's DAL back? DAL is back 142%. All right, so they're about the same. UAL, DAL. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Airlines in general are just... I wish there was more opportunity on airlines right now, but there just is not quite anything going on. I mean, I would just wait for something clear to start happening. Wait for that momentum to start jumping in, because right now it's just a slow grind. I mean, since May of 2021, you have just slowly grinded lower. We already did Nvidia. You guys are putting in tickers for the 19th, so just to let you know, we'll do those tomorrow, I guess. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to head over to the Discord chat. I want to let you guys know about the new merch designs, which I'm pretty excited for. I'm thinking about doing like hats maybe instead of shirts, or like mugs, something easier. Like a hat, I think, would be what more people would be interested in. Maybe a few shirts here and there. But Hindsight Millionaire, I think we could all relate to Hindsight Millionaire. I can definitely relate to that, because I definitely have my Hindsight Millionaire moments. When I sell something and look at what it could have been, definitely could relate to Hindsight Millionaire. Ride the 9. That's just something we talk about in the Discord all the time, and a highly requested one for the chat. Ride the 9. I like the design a lot, actually. I think that would look good, like a big one, like on the back of a sweater. I think that would look pretty cool. I would definitely wear it. So two designs, simple, modern, simplistic. I like them. Let me know what you guys think. I'm not doing it to really make money, guys. I think it's just fun. I think it's fun to have some cool designs, sort of like gives a good morale of community for the chat and for you guys. I think it's just a fun thing to do. It's really not how it does or how well it does, more of just a cool morale and fun thing for us to look at, or to wear and to sort of honor. So if you guys like them, let me know. If you guys are interested in the current merch drop, you can go check them out. They are 50% off right now. You can use right here, code earnings, 50% off the current merch. Code is EARNINGS, earnings. You can go ahead and check that out. Get 50% off right now. So thank you guys again. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, options_insider.com. Make sure to press the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel, and be safe today. Today is Monday, right? What do we do on Mondays? On Mondays, you get an idea of what the market wants to do. Get an idea of what the market wants to do today. Don't just jump head first today. Today is Monday. You have all week to trade. Get an idea of what the week is looking like, what's strong, what sector's hot. Is it energy? Is it XLP? Is it tech? Is it industrials? Is it transports? What's hot? Once you find out what's hot today, then you try to play the continuation. If you don't know what's hot, you're not going to know what's hot right at the first minute of a Monday morning. So give it some time. Sit back, relax, watch the price action, then take your trades. Let it come to you. All right, guys. Have a great day. Press the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.